Hi everyone. So today we're gonna be looking at, well, sort of introducing three areas that can be discussed, looked upon, and understanding how to align it within oneness and equality, meaning how to use the principle of oneness and equality to help yourself to basically align yourself in these ways, in these things. So there's three topics, and these are topics that are very common within people, all the people in the world. They are sex, drugs, and money and career. Those are three topics that are very much, let's say, misaligned within in the world. And what I noticed is that perhaps for some people, their misalignment may be more dominant in one area than another. And also that for some people, they may, let's say, have more success within one area versus another. And I've said in previous video where basically each of us have moments in our lives where we were living oneness and equality, where we were really aligned with our body, with ourselves, and really moving and creating as that. So these three topics, they're very general. So for example, within sex, you can include stuff like masturbation, porn, relationships, partners, romance, and all the misalignments within that. Within drugs, you can include alcohol, food like sugar, sweets, or smoking marijuana, or even entertainment, where it's like that very much point of, I guess, like substance as creates to create stimulation within you in some way. For money, you can count things like as career and like how people their relationship with making money, with their career, who they are within that. So you can generalize these points. So for this video, let's start with sex. Now, typically, to explain like the different, it's a misalignments, you have men who usually, let's say, stereotype, they're very much driven by sex and they want a lot of partners. And the women's stereotype is that they want one partner. Now, those are, let's say, stereotypes, like the sort of like the things that happen very commonly. Now, what is the actual misalignment here? Now, like we discussed in last video, we have the positive feeling where if you try to, say, align with your body, you actually make a positive experience out of it. And that's not actually something that's really real. To be here with your body, it's very much you're in your body, feeling your senses, your physical. And for the relationships, the misalignments that occur is really going into your head within you have like a special person that's your person. You have someone that loves you, and it's very much that fantasy that you've had since you were a child, most likely. And that fantasy is now coming alive. That fantasy of having a partner, that's not something you're really born with. When you're a child, if you remember, you didn't have that fantasy. You didn't have the idea that looking for that one special person who loves you. That was sort of fed to you and given to you as a point of where you chose, of course, to participate with and create that as a fantasy, as an idea, as an imagination. You most likely, we're going to talk about another polarity, but looking at this point, you most likely, because other polarity, is sort of a little bit of the play of that, but we'll get to that. So just play along, I guess, with me. So when you're younger, growing up, you had points of where you would write down about your ideal partner or fantasize who you would like to be with, what they would look like, what they would do, what they would say, how they treat you. And you already had like an image of that person, right? You already had an idea of what that is. And the question is like really comparing that to reality. Did you actually have any evidence? Did you actually have any research or any testing or any feedback from your environment that actually told you whether that actually would be, let's say, the best partner for you? Is actually what you would really want. And this is kind of the misalignments within relationships, because typically all of us, we don't really have, let's say, a good relationship with people around us, with even our families, with our friends. Where here by good, I mean like where it's really aligned within oneness and equality, where you really are treating the other person how you would like to be treated, and they're really treating you how you would be like to be treated, or them. So that basic point of, okay, you're a being, with the way I talk to you, the way I interact with you, I give that same value as if it was myself, right? The real equality. And so we usually don't have that relationship with our parents, with our siblings, with our brothers, with our sisters, with our other family members, with friends. We don't have that. So when you look for a partner, then all those misalignments already that you had for relationships since you're young are now going to be present within you looking for a partner. So when you look for a partner, it's very much the point of feeling based, because the relationships that we have now, because they're misaligned, there's lots of emotions, there's lots of conflict, there's lots of fight, there's lots of misunderstanding, there's lots of problems. And you can even create that point of polarity where it's very positive, where it becomes in a way like an illusion, something fake, where you're really positive for everyone, everyone's positive with you, but is that something real and substantial, or is that just a feeling? Is that just an idea, a fantasy as well? So I can go a lot deeper in this subject, and I think I'm going to do that next video. But I would like to introduce a little bit on the other, let's say, polarity, where with men it becomes more of the point of sex. It's not, let's say, necessarily men or women. It's just a stereotype, because it can be reversed, meaning men can be that way, women can be that way. But just the general stereotype has existed. That's you can see that. So the other stereotype, one thing that's important to understand is that these are equal points, and this is where usually women don't understand pornography or how men go into that. So for men, they go through the sex point more, where it's more about like the physical touching, the physical calmness, or that stimulation, where that's how they represent, or they, let's say, create that, let's say, fulfillment as that fantasy, where that's what they're looking for. And it's also very much image based, just like how women, you know what I'm talking about, where when a person who's very much looking for, let's say, relationship, they're very much looking at the image of the person. And let's say for men and women, it's different, but it's still the same principle, meaning that they're both looking for an image, and they're both looking for that fulfillment that they didn't receive because they're misaligned within relationships from the beginning. That led to that. So how would you align that to oneness and equality within yourself? Well, one of my basic tests is that you need to be able to live something in a way with everyone. because what usually happens is that within looking for that one partner, whether it's for sex or relationship or romance, let's use the word romance, whether it's for sex or romance, you know, if you're looking at that one person, you can only live that with that one person, right? Are you able to live that with everyone? I mean, obviously, if you are now romantic with every single person in your world, that'd be kind of crazy. Or if you want to, like, let's say, have sex with every single person in your world, that's also crazy as well. And so that's not really the point. That's not really the point, the expression that would actually align yourself to one intimate quality. The expression would be those points that you can live with everyone. Meaning, you could hug everyone, you could talk with everyone intently, like with intimacy, with interest, you could look at people in the eyes and like see them. You could talk about difficult subjects and offer support. You can just help people out with your actions. You could, when you laugh, when you giggle, when you express yourself, let's say in that positive way where it's you physically moving into laughter, you physically moving into giggling, you physically expressing with your voice, with your body, to dance around, to skip around, to hold hands with people, and just jump around, to just make sounds, yell, scream, shout, to run around, to play games, to all these various different expressions that we used to have as children, that we used to live with everyone equally, but we don't anymore. And why is that? And if we were to live that, were it not even necessarily those expressions, but it's all about that principle of if you're actually able to live in a way that you're really one equal with everyone, that you're standing with them, as them, when you're being here, that would fulfill you. And that would be the point where then you realize, okay, what does a relationship with one person really mean? What am I really creating here? Because it becomes clear that you're not looking for any of those points, any of those expressions within the relationship because you're living it with everyone in your reality. Then you realize, okay, what is really the practical point of this one relationship? And there is an answer. I don't want to, in a way, spoil it because, everything you described so far, that can be lived with everyone. That's already a challenge for everyone to live. And once you've lived that point, then the answer becomes quite clear. What would actually be your relationship that's really valuable to you with one person? What are you really looking for? What do you actually would be worth creating? And there is answers. And that's something that you have to answer for yourself. It's better that way. But realize that all these expressions, this laughter, these intimacies, these points of enjoyment, it's all dependent on you, not anyone else. You could live that with everyone. Is it strange, unusual, foreign? Yes, because you haven't done that for many years. But have you done it before? Yes, you have, when you were a child. So, that's the basic introduction to that area. We'll see tomorrow whether I'm going to introduce more on this, let's say, sex topic, relationships. There's definitely more dimensions I could go into, or I may go into explain the other two topics. um, money, career, and drugs. So we'll see. I may eventually just go introduce other topics, introduce those other two topics, and then go back to this one. We'll see. So, see what it means to express, see what it means to really be here with the people in your environment, and find a way to be a child again. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.